Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to another YouTube and Facebook Live. Hi there, Nancy. Good afternoon to you. I'm so happy to be with you once again here on Facebook and YouTube, and we're going to have some fun crafting together. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Anissa. How are you? How is everyone today? It's starting to get very chilly here, but I'm underneath all my spotlights, so I had to take off my nice warm cardigan because I'm nice and toasty here. But things are cooling down. Autumn is on its way, and everything is kind of changing now. The air, the leaves, everything is nice and crisp. Hi, Sue. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Joni. How are you all today? So behind the altar new badge is the lovely Roxanne, if I'm not mistaken. She's going to be my sidekick for today, and she will be popping in all the links of the products I'll be using. Hi, Liana. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Erica. Hi, Joni. Cold as well there? Okay. Hi, Wendy. Yeah, I'm kind of a summer girl. I do like warm weather, but I do like to see the changes that autumn brings. But I don't like the cold, so I like to be nice and warm. So my jumpers and my cardigans are all ready to get going. Hi, Barbara. Hi, everyone. So thank you for joining today. Don't forget to share because we will be picking a lucky winner at the end of the show. Hi, Roxanne. And you could win a $15 gift voucher to our store, so you could buy some fun goodies. So a couple of days ago, like 2 weeks ago, we had our embossing folder release, and I thought it'd be nice just to use a couple of embossing folders from that release. So I didn't get all of them. I only got a couple, so I can't create with all of them today. So I thought I'd just pick a couple which I haven't used yet and just use them today on this YouTube Facebook Live. That's usually what I do. I use products that I haven't used before. So this is the first product I'm going to be using. It is the classic pine cone slim embossing folder. So these are quite new, our slim embossing folders. So these are great for slim line cards. I'm going to be showing you a very simple way to use this card, but with some really dramatic effects. There we go. Oh, Sue. Oh, good. You like 3D embossing folders. You've got a couple of them. I love them too. I don't use them enough, I think. But I'm going to be using these two. The other one is the Frilly Peonies embossing folder. It's quite hard to see the image. I think you can see it on the screen like so. There we go. It's just really Frilly Peonies. And I love that there's like a little bloom here at the top, just ready to pop open. They're my favorite flowers, I think, peonies. And then I just pulled out some coordinating supplies. Oh, we've got another addict here, Victoria. There we go. Because I was going to use the pine cones, I thought it'd be nice to use the Warm Blessings stamp set. It is an older stamp set, but it's one of my favorites for the seasons. It's got some really fun neutral sentiments like happy holidays, 'tis the season, sending warm blessings, which you can also use at Thanksgiving or etc. Joy to the world, that would be more like Christmas. Oh, hear the angel voices. And once again, it's got a combination of the scripted and the typed font, which is one of my favorite things. Sandra says, good to see embossing folders. I have a few, but you don't use, I don't know. I don't use them as much as I would like to, just sometimes because the ideas I've got with them are so intricate, it takes a lot of time. And because I'm a scrapbooker, I would have to, it's kind of hard to fill a whole page. So I have less ideas for pages, more ideas for cards. Hi, Avril, how are you? There we go. Oh, yes, the poinsettia one is lovely, isn't it, Sue? I think it's a great one for the Christmas season. I might use it again this year as well. So I'm going to pop you down. So just a quick word of warning. My setup has this kind of weird thing where it distorts the image. So just give me 2 minutes because I have to open another program, then click on something, and then it should turn out all right. I don't know what it is. I haven't found out why this happens, but I can fix it. It just takes like 2 minutes of figuring it out on my computer. So I'm just going to switch the screen. I'm going to pop you down already. You'll see everything is like elongated. There we go. So I'm just going to open my other program and we'll fix it. Don't know if it has been fixed now or not. Should be okay now. So let me just pop on back. Yay. Looking good. Everything's nice and square. Ooh, Nancy, you saw something Avril didn't. Oh, it's okay in Belgium. It's getting colder, but we had some lovely sunshine, and which means everything is. I think the garden looks really pretty. I think even though we've had a really cold and wet summer, the garden has been doing really well. And so the garden in September, with everything changing color, is really pretty. There we go. So these. Here you can see all the supplies that I've pulled out. I've also got these mini blending brush sets, which I'll be using. And I cut out this piece of cardstock because I really love the green background on this. This is from one of the Altenew pattern papers from the Enjoy the Ride collection. So you've got this on one side, and then you've got this kind of green washed effect on the other one. I didn't have any green cardstock because I really wanted to have like this kind of green cardstock with the pine cones, but I did have this, and I think this will work wonderfully with it as well. So just to show you that you could also use just regular pattern paper in your embossing folders as well. Oh, Lisa. Oh, those are great ones to order. The poinsettia, the pine cone, and the organic stone one is also fabulous. So there we go. Let's just, I don't know why I've got my Misty tool out. That was from my previous project. I think I did do all my crafting today for the couple of new releases. So I did pull all the release stuff away. I did leave my Misty on there. So we're going to start with the pine cones, which is this long one. So I kind of already cut mine to size. I think it's a bit larger. You could always slim it down afterwards, which I think is a good idea when you're doing slimline cards and you're using these slimline embossing folders. So there we go. So when you open up, when you open it up, you will just have a feel of it because you will see how much 3D elements there are in there. And so it really gives you lots of dimension. And you've always got like an A and a B side. So I kind of call it my valleys and my hills. So for example, if I feel here, all the pine cones are sticking up, and here all the pine cones are sitting in. So there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my paper inside. So what I want is I want to add color to my pine cones, and I want my pine cones to be sticking up. So that means I'm going to be adding color to the pine cones, which are in the valleys, because those are going to be embossed and then they'll be sticking up. I hope that's clear. So I'm going to place my paper where the pine cones are like popping out of the plate, which means they will be popping out of the paper as well. Ooh, that's dark. Why has everything gone really dark? Okay. Let's try and switch on another light. Just move this a bit around. Okay. There we go. So I'm just going to pop this inside. And what I am going to do is I am going to kind of make sure that it's nice and secure. There we go. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of tape on there as well. So here on the sides, I've got just a line. So that's kind of the border. So I'm going to pop a little bit of tape on there and just kind of fold it over so that keeps my paper in place. I'm doing this because I don't know if when I add my ink color, just one go will be enough. And maybe I will want to add a bit more ink. So that way I'm just going to leave everything in place nicely so that when it embosses and I need to use more ink, I can just add on. So I'm going to add some ink onto my pine cones. And I think I'll be using the mini blending brushes just because they are really small. And I think these will be just enough to add that ink inside those pine cones. So there we go. And I'm going to be using this pigment ink from Altenew, which is the Ultimate Metallic Gold Antique Gold. So I'm just going to ink this up. So I'm just going to dab my little tool in there, and I'm going to add the color to my embossing folder, and I'm just going to add it to the pine cones. I don't want to add any ink anywhere else. The good thing about these inks is they are kind of slow drying, so you do have the time like to just work your way around the embossing folder. You could also do this like change up colors, and you could go with a dark blue, for example. Okay, I am going to remove that from the border afterwards. So let's just try and keep it in there. And what's fun, because these are really small, you can really go into like all the nooks and crannies of those pine cones. Just kind of playing around a bit with the bristles of the brush. There we go. This is such a pretty gold color. Oops, I did go around the outside. Oh, that's okay. Don't mind a little bit of gold peeking out there. Okay, I'm going to wipe a little bit. When I'm wiping, I can just check out comments. I think Avril is frantically trying to find the email that said she won. Okay, so I'm just kind of wiping away all the excess I've got on my borders here. So I don't want any there. Just want on my pine cones. Go. Avril says she can't find it. Thank you for sharing, everyone. For those of you who just joined, don't forget to share, because we will pick a lucky winner from all those who do share. There we go. Okay, and then we've got another one here in the corner. And I did go outside a little bit. Let me just give that a little wipe. Get that off. Here too. There. Okay, and now I'm just going to close this so you can see that just on the embossing folder. It's really pretty. There we go. So I'm going to close this and just run this through my my little die cut machine. So I have this one, and mine works with the base plate with all the layers, and then just one plate. And so I'm going to pop that in there and just roll that through. Oh, I hope it will look great, Barbara. I've got an idea in my head, but the thing is to get it right while I do it on the Facebook Live. Oh, I didn't put the whole plate in there. Let's just do that again. Oh, let's just run it through. See, not running the whole plate through. Let's just do it again. I like to do it twice, usually, like go through once and then go backwards. So just put this to one side. We might have to do it again. Let's just have a look. Oops. So yeah, this is pattern paper, so the white is peeking a bit through. So I'm not going to add any more gold because it's already, I think it already looks really good just with one go. Oops. Okay, let's just pull off that tape like that. So sometimes what has happened here, because I don't have any green cardstock, like smooth green cardstock, the color underneath is like white, and so you can see it like kind of peeking through. You could always go over it with maybe a pen, like if you have a green artist marker. Just having a look through mine, seeing what I could use, just to kind of cover it up. I don't know if it would look nice or not. It's a bit dark, that one. So this one is evergreen. Maybe I could use a lighter one just to kind of fix that. Okay. It's a bit too green. That's moss. I think the evergreen one will work quite well. You could just go over the white bits with a pen if you wanted to. I'm just going to leave them like this. It does look a little bit like there's a bit of snow on there or something like that. So there we go. So as you can see, I've still got my border around here, so I can cut this down a little bit just to make it truer to size. There we go. Yep, it does, like a little bit frosty. But I will do this again, but maybe on some blue paper just to show you the difference. Okay. Just cutting it down a little bit. There we go, that's better. So let's add a little sentiment. This is for later on. Having a look to see if I've got any white cardstock left over that I could use. Okay, here I've got a little piece, which I could probably use. Maybe this bit over there. Let's just see. Happy Holidays. That's a bit too large. Sending warm blessings. Be merry. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season. Let's go with 'tis the season. Good. So I want something that pops off, that kind of contrasts with that. So I'm just going to use some black ink on white. There we go. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season to wear sweaters and cardigans and boots. There we go. So I'm going to just cut this by hand because I'm a bit lazy. So when I cut it, it's never really straight. I just apply my little trick. I use an Altenew fine liner here. I'm using the 2O. I'm just going to doodle around the edges. That kind of makes a crooked border look not so crooked. Here we go. And I like it in the middle, but not like in the middle, just a bit to the bottom. So I'm going to pop it over there. Get me some Altenew foam tape, just up above. I'm using my obsidian black ink just because it's the one that's always on my desk. It's the season. Doopy doopy doop. And you could always add some little gems or little sequins, whatever you like. So there we go. You can see how pretty that looks. I wanted to show you just in a different kind of feel, or maybe some blue. So I'm going to use some navy blue paper from Altenew. You could do this with black cardstock as well. I just thought it'd be nice just to do with some navy blue if I can get it out. I still have to cut my navy blue paper to size. So this is the navy blue. And instead of using the gold, so I'm going to have to clean my plate. What do you want me to use? Do you want me to stick with the gold or maybe use the Arctic mixed media ink? Tell me. And then I'll just do what you want me to do. Because I'm always doing what I want to do, but maybe you would like to see something else. So tell me if you want the navy and the gold or the navy and the blue. So I'm just going to give this a little clean. There we go. Gold, gold, gold. So you would like to see the Arctic. Gold would look really pretty as well. I know it will. I've done it a lot of times with the blue. I haven't tested the Arctic out with the blue yet, so it would be fun to see how that one looks. Yes, let's just try the Arctic just to see, because the gold will always look good. I assure you, I've done it many times. Just give this another little cleany clean. Okay, I think that's good now. So there we go. That's pretty clean. So if you're wondering, I've still got my gold on here. I will just use another one, and you can just clean these. I just have like a little sponge in my kitchen, and I just like add some lukewarm water and a little bit of dish soap, and I kind of rinse it under some warm water with soap, and then I just kind of pat it dry. So it works really nicely too. So let's just get out a second little blending tool. It's like, where are they? Over here. With the ink spritzed, then emboss, come off the card forward. If you would use crisp inks, yes. Not with the pigmented inks, no. But you could use any of our other inks, and that would work really well. Probably with the mixed media inks as well. Yeah, just simple. I've got my dish soap. It's like more of a, it's like an organic, no, like a environmentally friendly dish soap. So, and it works really well. Dish soap is great. Yeah, it's great for anything. I'm gonna pull this off. So I'm just going to cut this one once again to size, just a bit larger than the folder itself. Just for your information, I'm going to, the folder size is, let me just check on here. It isn't written, so let me just measure it. It's, the folder size is a bit smaller than a 4-inch. So I usually kind of cut it a bit larger. That way I'm sure I can just cut it off afterwards. So here I got my blue. So once again, I'm just going to place that onto my card. Okay. Just attach like so that it doesn't move around. If I have to go back in, probably not, because like the gold worked the first time. Not too sure how the mixed media ink will work on this, but probably the same. So let's go in. So once again, I'm going to dab, dab, dab. These are really pigmented. So let's start. Oh, you can. Ooh, these go really well. Let's just kind of. You could do this with any kind of our 3D embossing folders. So once again, put some ink on the side there. Would be a good idea to have a couple of Q-tips to kind of touch up a little bit. You don't need to dab a lot into your pad because it is very pigmented. This, you can see how much ink is on there. Yes, I like doing that too. But if you do that, you would get, you would also get this kind of, you would also get it onto your other. You could do the whole thing. Let's just do the whole thing. I want to see. I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to add my color onto the whole part over here. I just want to see how that looks. Oh yeah, I should have done it over the other side. Okay, let's just clean this up. You can see it's evening over here, and I've got my evening brain on the go. Some more evening brain. So let's clean this up. I'm just going to clean this. Oh, and start again. So I kind of just wanted my pine cones, but then again, we could just go the different one. Okay, let's just go with doing the whole. I'm thinking this will look really, really, really cool. Let me just. Okay, nice and pretty and white. Let's just close this and run it through the machine. It's going to be a little bit different. I think it's going to be very kind of snowy. Let's go with it. Running it through the machine. Let's just go back. Oh, it doesn't want to go back. Oh, completely. Let's go back. Here we go. All done. And now let's see how it looks. Oh, it didn't turn out. Ooh, that looks nice. kind of a bit different. That looks really, really pretty. I'm going to leave that to dry a little bit. I'm going to do it once again. I've got another piece over here. I would like to do it on the other side this time. I'm going to try it on the other side. Let's just clean this side off. So this one's a little bit larger than the plate itself, but that's okay. Okay, yeah, let's go with it. So this time I'm just going with the other side just to show you the difference. Okay. Oh, yes, you could. You could use your embossing ink and then add embossing powder. It does work. So let's just roll that through again. This is so pretty. It's kind of got, and it still has to dry, so it's got this kind of lovely sheen and shimmer to it. It's really fun. It's really pretty. No, it wouldn't. I think it's just me not wanting to get inky hands, Sandra. There we go. Let's just get this through now. There we go. I'm just going to go with one single press. Okay, and this time has gone stamped in like that. There we go. So you can see the different effects you get. I really like the look of this one, and this one is really special as well. So it's still wet to the touch, so you're going to have to leave this to dry a little bit. But you can see how pretty that looks. And you could definitely still add embossing powder to this because it's like still wet, or you could use your embossing ink. That works really well too. There we go. But you can see how many variations you can create just with one set. You could just like ink a part of it, go with a color, with a pattern paper, different colored cardstock, your mixed media inks, or just go with white and then add color as well. So many options with the embossing folders. And what I like about them is that because you've got so many options and the price is really interesting. I think they're really, really great products to have in your stash of supplies. And it's a great way to add some interest to a background as well. So it kind of lifts everything up. It's still subtle, but it kind of adds a little bit of pizzazz to your background. So there we go. We've used our lovely pine cones for this one, you can see, which is the slim embossing folder. That was the card I created, and this was kind of just me wondering how white would look on the navy, and I think it looks really, really pretty. Look at those. So I'm going to pop them up top, and now we're going to work on our next one. So I still need my plates. So this time I've got some watercolor paper, and this I did take a standard card size for this one, just to show you that you can go with standard card size even if your embossing folder is larger. Oh, Sandra, please do, because it does work. I've already done this. You could, you definitely can add like your embossing ink So where is my, so this, you could just add your embossing ink, run it through your machine, and then add your embossing powder on top. There we go. Let me just clean this up a little bit. There we go. So, oops. So I don't need those anymore. Just pop them to one side so I can clean them. Good afternoon, Diane. So now I'm going to use the Frilly Peonies, which is this lovely set. You can see you've got 2 large blooms, and then you've got this kind of bloom starting ever so slightly to open up. So I really want to have this section with that little bud in. So let me just... So here I'm just placing my cardstock, and I'm going to add just a teeny tiny bit of that little bit of tape. This section is just flat, so if I add my tape here, it won't interfere with anything. There we go. So now I'm just going to run this through the die cutting machine. So I don't need my second plate. Let's just put this to one side. No need for 2 plates. So that is something you will have to look at with your machine that you use, because from one machine to the other, you might have to play with your plates, 1 plate, 2 plates, or maybe add an extra layer. There we go. So I'm going to run this through. So I'm using watercolor cardstock. So this is a 9x12 pad, which I cut up because I don't have my card size watercolor paper anymore. I have to order some more. That's dangerous, Lilith. Put that away correctly. There we go. And it's just, I already love it on, it's already just so pretty on some white cardstock. There we go. Just, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to try and hold it up. Just look at all that dimension. It's so pretty. So we're going to do a little bit of watercoloring. And let's just, I'm going to get, so I was watercoloring this afternoon, so I've still got a bit of water there. I'll use that for my greens. I'm just going to get a new little bowl with some clean water. Where are my bowls? No, I don't have any clean bowls. Oh dear. Okay, let's just see how I do this. I have got some clean water. I don't have any bowls. Oh, I'm going to use this. Oh, this will do just fine. Oops. There we go. Thank you for sharing. So I've got some watercolor brush markers with me, and I'm going to get out some of, so I've already got a couple of watercolor brushes here. This one is way too large from old to new. I'm just going to get out some other ones. So let me just have a look here. These are really small. I might just use the watercolor number 4 brush. That could work. I've got my number 4. Let me just see if I can find my other watercolor brushes. Oh yes, here's another one. Here's my number 2, my favorite one. Okay, let's get started. So I've picked out some colors. I'm going to do some red flowers and some green leaves. Very classic, nothing too difficult. And I'm just going to be using, mostly I'm going to be using the watercolor brush markers. You can also use coloring pencils. You can definitely use coloring pencils, but I haven't really practiced with coloring pencils. So I'm just going to go with my watercolor brush markers. So first things first, I'm going to add a little bit of color. I'm going to start with my lightest. So here I've got orange cream, sun-kissed, and then crimson. Crimson is like a lovely red. And I do want to add a little bit of orange. So I'm going to start with my lightest color, or maybe my darkest color, and then we'll work my way out to the lightest. So there we go. Give this a little press. I'm already going to prep my watercolor brush with a little bit of water. There we go. I'm going to start with my blooms. And I'm just going to start here in the center just by adding my color. And I'm just going with my darkest shade here at the bottom, because that's like where I think the darkest shade is going to go. And then I'm going to kind of just work it, blend it out with the lightest shade a little bit. So I'm not adding any water just yet. There we go. So I'm just working my, I'm going to maybe try and zoom in a bit. Let me just see if I can zoom in. Oops. Let's just get that to focus. Okay, maybe you can see it just a little bit better. There we go. And then I'm going to just go back in with my darker shade and just darken that a little bit. And now I'm just going to take my watercolor brush and just kind of blend the colors out to the very top of my petal. So just pull that and just like kind of blend all the colors out to the top. So I don't know if I'll have time to do the whole card. Let's just try and finish maybe just this flower and maybe do a couple of leaves. And then I can finish it off and just, I'm going to try and hold it up a bit to the screen so that you can see how it's a lot darker on the screen. It is a lot lighter in real life. I'm just kind of I'm going to try and hold this up to the light a bit more. It is a lot lighter. It kind of just blends out really nicely. Oops. There we go. So I'm just going to continue working on this. This one is the frilly peonies. Frilly peonies. And I like this one because it's got like 2 large blooms and then there's just a little bud at the top. And I can already see that drying and really softening. And the colors are really, really pretty and light at the top. The screen is darkening it a little bit. So there we go. So let's work on our next one. This one is still a bit wet. So I'm just going to work on maybe one on the opposite side. Let me just see here. I'm going to work on this one over here. So this is a petal which is opening like this. So it's going to be dark here and going out to the side. So as you can see, I'm just directly going with my watercolor brush marker onto this. And what's really nice is that I've got the rim of the other petal, which is like on top, which is going to act as a natural barrier to my color. So this is kind of like no line watercoloring, but instead of having like a really softly stamped line, you're just using your embossing folder as your guideline. Oh, that's one of my favorites, the Virginia one, Xiomara, and I think that looks lovely. I think coloring pencils look amazing as well. This is the orange cream. That's a darker one, so I'm going to go with the lighter one. So a darker shade and then a lighter shade. So I'm just going to kind of blend this out. I admire all those people who do colored pencils. It's so pretty, but I'm not really, I like coloring, but I think I enjoy watercoloring just a little bit more. Okay. I love this frilly peony one. So let's just get a bit of water and just ever so slightly blend this color out. So pretty. And you can just go over the darker one and the lighter one, and it just kind of blends everything out a little bit. And if you want to, you can always go back in with your darker shade and just kind of add more depth in those places where you want a little bit more depth, like that. So here you can see those different shades. Oops. Okay. A little tip, when you are working with your watercolor brush markers, don't open them on top of your paper, because you might just get some splatters on there. So kind of work to the side. And I always like to have like maybe a clean cloth just to under my hand, just to make sure that I don't drag any color on there. So let me just have a look. I'm going to turn it around, and then I'm going to do this petal here, which is below. Once again, I'm going to start with my darker shade. This is my favorite thing to do. It's so, I don't know why, I find it really relaxing. And when sometimes I'm really stressed out when I'm stamping, because I'm always afraid to get like the stamps not line up correctly. This is just, this is watercolor, so I never know how, if I just keep inside the lines or like here in the shapes, I don't know how the water is going to react. I don't know how the colors are going to blend together. So I'm a lot less stressed than when I'm stamping, for example, which might sound a bit weird, but that's how it is. And the weird thing is, when you're working on your petals, it doesn't look like much in the beginning. And the more you work on it, the more they kind of come to life. And each petal is a bit different. And like here, I'm just working with 2 colors and a bit of water. So there we go. So this is a little bit time consuming, but if you've got some time on your hands and you like watercoloring, so this is the kind of thing I do if I don't have to do design team projects. This is really my kind of relaxing time. Friday evening with my Netflix on, and I'm just sitting here and painting little petals. There we go. You could, Christine, but because I'm not pressing on it like I would with maybe colored pencils, I'm just kind of dabbing ever so slightly. I don't usually do it with the watercolor cardstock, but you could. You definitely could. Oh, it's already looking so pretty. I'm just going to do one more petal here, and then just maybe do a leaf. So this is me taking on a large project for YouTube, Facebook Live, and not having enough time. And just have a think. Yep. So it's always a bit, I have to figure out how the petals are lying, just to make sure. Get the tones right. So you have got these kind of rims. I don't know if you can see them here. I will color them in with a very, very light shade of orange afterwards. Okay, just pull the color out. And if you've already used the Altenew watercolor paper, which comes in the 9 by 12 paper pad, this paper is really, really forgiving. It means you can go in with water and play around with it quite a lot. So now I've still got a little bit of that orange on my paintbrush from the blending. I'm just going to go over that little rim. So it's still going to be like really, really soft and light. Just like. And you can always go back in and just play with the colors and blend them more, add more color if you want to. There we go. But this is really a fun technique to do. And I do prefer this to the no-line watercoloring because you've got all the shapes in there. With sometimes with a no-line watercoloring, the lines are so faint. You go, oh, is the petal, and where does it start, and where does it finish? So sometimes you don't really know where you are. So I'm going to maybe just do this one petal over there, just to kind of finish that center part here. I forgot this little section over here. Okay. So now I'm going to go back in here with my darker shade, because this petal is like going up and towards the center. And what I love about these watercolor brush markers is that the tip is so fine, so you can really do very intricate work with these. There we go. Let's go back in with my Sun-Kissed, and then we'll just do a leaf. There we go, and now I'm just going to blend this out. Okay. Just really blending the colors out. There we go. Once that's finished, you will really see how pretty that looks. Okay, let's just do one leaf then. I'm going to try and find a more intricate leaf over here. Yep, this one will do just fine. So once again, I'm going to go, I've got moss and a little bit of lime. So let's just start with this one. It's kind of, oh, that one is going really strong. We need to wipe it off a bit. Come on. Yep. So if you press a lot on the, you will get a lot of color, like me. I don't want too much color. This is a very dark color. So let's just add a bit of that lime just to soften the moss. Once again, I'm just following those lines on the inside. And this time I'm going to go in with just my watercolor brush and pull that color out a bit, just to really soften it. There we go. And then we've got this kind of part which is folding up. I'm going to kind of add a bit of this color along the edge. Like that. And I'm just going to kind of blend that in with my brush. Just pull out some of that color. Oops. So this is really a bit, I should use a finer brush for this one. There we go. This looks okay. Moss is just really, really dark. There we go. Okay, let's, oops. There. Once again, the color is coming out really strong. So be very careful. Don't push too much on the push one. I think I'm just going to go in with the lighter shade this time and just add a little bit of the moss on top. Hi, Dawn. Oh, Judith, it's okay. I'm using some of the new embossing folders. So this one is the frilly, which one is it? The frilly peonies? Yeah, frilly peonies. Come on, Lilith. So I'm just going to kind of pull the color out. That's my whole leaf. Okay, let me get my moss. If you don't want too much color, you can always just dab your brush into the brush tip just to get some color, just to add some darker shades, for example. Just want to darken this section a little bit. As well. You can see how much color, how pigmented that is. There we go. So here we've got 2 leaves, okay, and you can just keep on working. I'm not going to work on these ones in the middle because this is still wet and everything will bleed together, so I'll just leave those to dry. But you do get the idea on how you can work on your flowers using this as kind of a base for your watercoloring. So I will finish this weekend so you can see the finished results. And I'll post it on my Instagram and I'll post it I'll send it to, I think I'll send it to Altenew to post, or I can post it on the fan page as well. So there we go. That was all we have time for today. I'm so sorry. I would have loved to finish working on this card. But I'm just going to show you what we created today. So we've got the frilly peonies, which I embossed onto some white watercolor cardstock. And then we created this card using the, I forgot the name, pine cones. I'm so tired, I forgot the name. The something pine cones fine embossing folder, or slim embossing folder. Where did I put the name? Oh, must have gone for a walk. So I created this card with it, as you can see here, where I embossed some of those pine cones with some gold. And then we created like two similar backdrops, but using some navy blue cardstock and the Arctic mixed media ink. This one was where we embossed the like hilly part, and then it kind of embossed into the paper. You can see now that it's dry. It's this really, really cool, pretty effect. And then this one was where we added the color to the other side. So you get like the positive and the negative of it. And you can see it's the same embossing folder, but the colors are really different, and you get a really different effect. So there you go. That was, I'm so sorry I couldn't show you more of this, but it's really a time-consuming process. Those of you who watercolor will know how much time it does take. So I'll try and finish it this weekend. There we go. I will try and finish it this weekend so that you can see the finished result. But I already like the look of that. You can see how pretty those colors are and the shading is. It's just really, really different from no-line watercoloring and everything else. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for sharing, for all of those who shared this live this live video. If you want me to use any other products, or you're curious about any other techniques, I'm more than happy to do them on our live sessions. You can always send me a little message or email me, or email Altenew and just say, I want Lilith to show this, and they'll get back to me. So there you go. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this little session, that you've learned something new, or that maybe you've seen something that you would like to try. And don't forget to share and to tag us on social media. I do love having a look at all of your pretty projects, and I've already been inspired by so many of you. So there you go. Thank you all for joining me. Have a lovely evening, day, or morning, wherever you are. And I hope to see you very soon here on the Altenew channel. Bye-bye, everyone.